we going?
Yep.
Okay, sorry, we had a little bit of interruption there, so I'm gonna repeat a little bit of the lecture to make sure that I have everything on here for you. So, with the halo effect is when one or more attribute is evaluated, ratings will tend to influence each other. And, when MEAT, our classic one, of course, is if you're evaluating cerami, also you tend to think then immediately that the metallic or liver flavors may be higher, where that may or may not be true. And so what we do is if there's a particular variable is very important, like metallic or liver is off flavor in meat, and you may be studying liver-like in the product. And we know that metallic tends to come along with that, what you can do is evaluate the samples for liver-like, and then in a different session, potentially the same day or the next day, you can evaluate the samples for the metallic, so that you get them thinking about each individual attribute instead of that interrelationship. And I need to point out that a lot of times these are subconscious type things. Panelists don't even realize that they're doing them. We had on the lamb panel, we had that, we had mutton flavor and liver-like being linked by the panel. We only found that out through training and talking and through, as we're going through things, and it's like, no, that isn't necessarily true. And so we had this halo effect going on, even though we didn't even know it. Order of presentation. I'm not gonna go through all of these. I think the biggest one that we deal with is the first order bias, where that sample you evaluate first. There's anticipation and hunger. You're also the freshest. There's no physical factors of adaptation. Mentally, you're fresh. You have no chance of being exhausted. And so we always evaluate or randomize or block by order. And I want you to know that in all my years of doing sensory, I've never ran an analysis where I didn't account for order effects, whether they were fixed or whether they were random, because it's such a big effect. And regardless of time between samples or any of that, order served is going to have an influence, and a very strong influence. Mutual suggestion is why we have panel booths. We do not want the expression of one person to influence how somebody else rates it. So if I was gonna give you coffee, and this happens to be the breakfast one. Oh, it smells very good. And I served all of you, and then I served myself. And when I drank this coffee, which I have some coffee right here, I did this. Would you want to drink your cup of coffee? Probably not. Even if the coffee was good, like that coffee is good. It's pour over, it's actually from here. But it would be, and is it still going?
Oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
just trying to brighten it up.
Whether you liked it or not, you would be influenced, and you wouldn't want to try it. And a lot of times, you don't know that. Also, so we put people in separate booths. Sometimes we allow people to be in the same room where they can face each other. I said I would love in the training environment to have a round table where all the panelists can look at each other. You can train people so that they don't give any mutual suggestion. And we also want the area free of noise and distraction, so that there isn't anything that's going to change how they're thinking or what they're looking at or their concentration level. Lack of motivation is something that is a common problem with panelists. We're giving our panelists 3 weeks off. I think at Christmas, that may also be because the graduate students should need a break too. But during the Christmas holidays, I'm gonna be honest with you, maybe they do want to work to get money, but they're really more concerned about, have they gotten all their grocery shopping done? Have they gotten all the presents on the list? How are they managing extra things? So it's a crazy time of year, and they're not gonna have the same motivation to put the same effort forward. And so the panel leader needs to create an atmosphere where they feel comfortable, where they understand what kind of a job, that they're important, and that the job they're doing is good. So you find ways to motivate your panel. You can return results. Our panelists, while we pay them, and they're outside panelists, that's some of their motivation to come, but they like contributing to the students and to their education and to their success, and that's very important. If we need to work double shifts like we're doing today, if I go in and ask them, it's like, oh, I guess we'll do it, Dr. Miller wants to. But if Cassie, sweet little Cassie, goes, Dr. Miller's gonna make us try to get this done before Christmas, can you please work double? Sure, and they're happy to come in because they wanna do something positive and they wanna do it for Cassie. So you find that thing that motivates your panel. My panel in Clay Center, when I was doing my dissertation work, was willing to come in and work without being paid to help me finish up my dissertation because of the personal relationship that I, as a graduate student, had with each one of them. So those are the type of things that you need to figure out. Capriciousness versus timidity. If you have panelists that are capricious, that means that they tend to use both ends of the scale. They have good judgment usually, or they have judgment and rapid judgment, and they're willing to make a decision. So I had Curtis, the capricious panelist, versus Doris, the timid panelist, on the same panel. And Curtis was an Air Force pilot from Vietnam, and he's a really good panelist. I still miss him to this day, but he was also very hard-headed, very military in the way that he did things. So when I needed to move Curtis, and I'd say, Curtis, you're wrong. You are wrong. Now that was higher and you need to move up, and I mean it. Then there's Doris. Oh, I hope I'm not wrong. I hope I'm not the one that's wrong. It's like, Doris, you're doing such a good job, and I'm so proud of you. And could you just move up a couple? See, if I talk like that to Curtis, Curtis would say, right? But you have to understand that, and you have to understand how to work with them. We do a warm-up to help standardize everybody every day, and it gives the panel leader or myself the chance to work with the individual people and help them each to be as good as they can be. If they're sick, they're not supposed to come in.